So, from Buddha's Eightfold Path, we are looking at another limb or practice called right concentration. The practice of right concentration, Samyak Samadhi, is to cultivate a mind that is one pointed. So, the Chinese character for concentration means literally maintaining evenness, neither too high nor too low, neither too excited nor too dull. Another Chinese term sometimes used for concentration means the abode of true mind. There are two kinds of concentration, active and selective. In active concentration, the mind dwells on whatever is happening in the present moment, even as it changes. The When we practice selective concentration, we choose one object and hold on to it. During sitting and walking meditation, whether alone or with others, we practice. We know that the sky and the birds are there, but our attention is focused on our object only. We don't use concentration to run away from our suffering. We concentrate to make ourselves deeply present. When we walk, stand, or sit in concentration, people can see our stability and stillness. Right concentration leads to happiness, and it also leads to right action. There are 9 levels of meditative concentration. The first four are the four dhyanas. These are concentrations on the form realm. The next 5 levels belong to the formless realm. When practicing the first dhyana, you still think at the other 8 levels. Thinking gives way to other energies. Formless concentrations are also practiced in other traditions, but when they are practiced outside of Buddhism, it is generally to escape from suffering rather than to realize the liberation that comes with the insight into our suffering. To practice samadhi is to live deeply each moment that is given to live. Samadhi means concentration. In order to be concentrated, we should be mindful, fully present, and aware of what is going on. In the form realm, there are 4 levels of dhyana: mindfulness, concentration, joy, happiness, peace, and equanimity continue to grow through these 4 levels. After the fourth dhyana, the practitioner enters a deeper experience of concentration, the formless dhyanas, where he or she can see deeply into reality. Here, sensual desire and materiality reveal their illusory nature and are no longer obstacles. You begin to see the impermanent non self and interbeing nature of the phenomenal world. Earth, water, air, fire, space, time, nothingness, and perceptions inter are. Nothing can be by itself alone. The object of the fifth level of concentration is limitless space. When we begin to practice this concentration, everything seems to be space. The object of the seventh level of or sixth level of concentration is limitless consciousness. At first, we see only consciousness, but then we see that consciousness is also earth, water, air, fire, and space. What is true of space is also true of consciousness. The object of seventh level conscious concentration is nothingness. With normal perception, we see flowers, fruit, teapots, and tables, but we think they exist separately of one another. But when we look more deeply, we see that the fruit is in the flower and that the flower, the cloud, and then earth are in the fruit. We go beyond outward appearances or signs and come to singleness. At first, we think that the members of our family are separate from one another, but afterwards, we see that they contain each other. You are the way you are because I am the way I am. We see the intimate connection between people and we go beyond science. We used to think that the universe contains millions of separate entities. Now we understand the non existence of science. The eighth level of concentration is that of neither perception nor non perception. We recognize that everything is produced by our perceptions, which are at least in part erroneous. Therefore, we see that we cannot rely on our old way of pursuing, and we want to be in direct touch with reality. We cannot stop perceiving altogether, but at least now we know that perception is perception of a sign. The ninth level of concentration is called cessation. Cessation here means the cessation of ignorance in our feelings and perceptions, not the cessation of feelings and perceptions. From this concentration is born insight. In the world of non-perception, the seventh manas and eighth consciousness continue to function as usual, and our ignorance and internal formation remain intact in our store consciousness, and they manifest in the seventh consciousness. When someone practices well, the ninth level of concentration shines light on the reality of things and transforms ignorance. When the sixth consciousness is transformed, it is called the wisdom of wonderful observation. Mindful consciousness continues to observe phenomena after it has been transformed into wisdom, but it observes them in a different way because mind consciousness is aware of the interbeing nature of all that it observes, seeing the one in the many, all the manifestations of birth and death, coming and going, and so on, without being caught in ignorance. The first five consciousness become the wisdom of wonderful realization. Our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body that previously caused us to suffer become miracles that bring us to the garden of suchness. Thus, the transformation of all levels of consciousness is realized as four wisdoms. The Buddha taught many concentration practices to practice the concentration on impermanence. Every time you look at your beloved, see him as impermanent and do your best to make him happy today. If you think he is permanent, you may believe that he will never improve. The insight into impermanence keeps you from getting caught in the suffering of craving, attachment, and despair. To practice the concentration on non self, touch the nature of interbeing in everything you contact. This will bring you a lot of peace and joy and prevent you from suffering. In Mahayana Buddhism, there are hundreds of other concentrations, such as the Surangama Samadhi, the concentration of the heroic march, the Saddam Pundarika Samadhi, and the Atamsaka Samadhi. Each is wonderful and important. According to the Lotus Sutra, we have to live in the historical and ultimate dimensions of reality at the same time. The Buddha is not found only on Gridra the vulture peak. If you were to hear on the radio that the Buddha is going to reappear on Gridra mountain and the public is invited to join him for walking meditation, all the seats on all the airplanes to India would be booked, and you might feel frustrated because you want to go also. Look deeply at your intention. Do you want to fly halfway around the world so that later you can say you were with the Buddha? Many people want to do just that. They arrive at a place of pilgrimage, unable to be in the here and now. After a few minutes of seeing the place, they rush to the next place. They take pictures to prove they were there, and they are eager to return home to show their friends. I was there, I have proof. That is me standing beside the Buddha. That would be the desire of many of the people who would go there. They are not able to walk with the Buddha. They are not able to be in the here and the now. They only want to say, I was there. And this is me standing beside the Buddha. But it is not the true. They were not there. And that is not the Buddha. Being there is a concept. And the Buddha that you see is a mere appearance. You cannot photograph the real Buddha, even if you have a very expensive camera. If you don't have the opportunity to fly to India, please practice walking at home, and you can really hold the hand of the Buddha while you walk. Just walk in peace and happiness, and the Buddha is there with you. The one who flies to India and returns with his photo taken with the Buddha has not seen the real Buddha. You have the reality. He has only a sign. Don't run around looking for photo opportunities. Touch the real Buddha. He is available. Take his hand and practice walking meditation. When you can touch the ultimate dimension, you walk with the Buddha. The wave does not need to die to become water. She is already water. This is the concentration of the Lotus Sutra. Live every moment of your life deeply, and while walking, eating, drinking, and looking at the morning star, you touch the ultimate dimension.